Welcome to Chronic Curiosity, where real people have real conversations, driven by curiosity to discuss this life in hopefully an intriguing way. Social media and the internets have woven their way into our lives and psyche, so we'd like to slow it down and be genuine and enjoy this foreign thing called conversation. Like, most of the time, I don't even know what we're going to talk about. We may highlight things our guests have going on, or it may just be us, Tony, Cass, and myself. Often our conversations can swing from one topic to the next: relationships to conspiracies, mental health to ancient civilizations, politics to aliens. But if you're curious enough, they can all connect. The one thing we'll certainly like to do is to connect with you, the listener, by discussing things that you can connect with and discussing things that make you curious enough that you didn't think you could connect with. So we hope you enjoy your time with us and appreciate the time you're spending with us, because we understand that that's one thing you can spend but never make more. In addition, if you do enjoy our show, we hope you could take a minute to show your support. Following and liking our channel on whatever platform you're listening to is greatly appreciated, and it doesn't cost you anything except the calories to, clickety-click. And remember, share it with a friend. We love growing this network and hearing from everybody. We also have a website that's linked in the description, chronic-curiosity.com. That's a store where you can pick up some fun, curious merchandise, not to mention some of the most comfortable and curious t-shirts ever, as well as a donate button if you just want to help us and support the show. We appreciate your ears and interaction. Thank you once again. Welcome to Chronic Curiosity. Open mind required. Raw human interaction. Inevitable. And here we go. Because she talked about having a when they opened that living house, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Talked about having the director on there and whatnot, so we can hang out with her again.
I wonder which one that is. I've got two patients and they're from Youngstown, and the one does something with drug addiction, like a halfway house, and I feel like they probably have to know each other. The one kid was the guy I was like wanting to have on the show. He owns a trucking company too, and both these guys were just super cool dudes. Like, you'd enjoy talking to them.
Yeah, heck yeah. Yeah, and I think it was in Cuyahoga Falls. I think they're looking to open up that, and it was different too. It wasn't just like a halfway house. It was like I feel like it was like a home where they really actually like
a residential kind of thing.
Yeah, it was like a residential thing where they really gave people jobs and like really worked with the patient, or I don't know, technically patients is the right word, but the folks there to kind of give them a new beginning and give them purpose and whatnot. So,
bro, is that your Colin Noir shirt?
Oh yeah, I forgot that. Yeah.
Pew.
My pew pew. I am the militia. I was excited when I got it. It took a little while, but it's a nice shirt. It fits good. I like it. It's a little thick. It's a little hot. Makes me sweat a little bit.
Yeah.
It would be a good winter shirt. Yeah, but it's a nice shirt.
Is it a tri-blend or what is it?
No, I don't know. I don't remember the brand.
Spun rung cotton or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I will say it's not quite as comfortable as the Chronic Curiosity shirts. Oh, can you see it on the? Oh, very nice. Can you see it? It is a nice shirt though. Colion Noir does have nice shirts. Got the I Am the Militia shirt. Hopefully I don't have to be a militia. That's not the intent. But you're off. There you go.
I noticed that. What's on your shirt?
Tacti-squatch.
Whole Tacti-squatch.
I think you need to move your mic too so we can really see that.
With an SBR.
Yeah, it's funny. One of my recent pilots that I flew with, she was a Marine, and she had the exact same shirt on.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah.
I feel like it's fairly representative of myself.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Have you seen, I don't have my coffee. I was drinking coffee down here earlier. I got one of their mugs.
Yeah. Was it a grenade one?
No, it was
sweet.
It was the, what was it?
Fuck your sensitivity.
Yeah, fuck your sensitivity.
Oh, I have.
And it has a smiley face with like a middle
yeah.
finger, and on the bottom, as you drink it, there's a middle finger on the bottom.
Yeah, because I had that T-shirt.
Oh, that's right.
But it was Matt Besk, that article. What is it? Article 15 clothing. Before they did away with that, and before he joined up with Evan Haffer.
Yeah, Evan Hoover with Black Rifle
Yeah.
Coffee Company.
Yep.
Yeah. Did you see that hit piece? I don't know if that's a little cliche, little word.
Yeah.
On that New York Times,
Yeah,
I think it was
yeah.
the Times did on Black Rifle Coffee.
Yeah.
I saw it and I was like, because I'm not necessarily a huge Black Rifle Coffee
Sure.
fan or anything, but literally I've never bought anything from them. Never tried their coffee. I've seen them pimped all over the place.
It's not bad.
Yeah. Well, as soon as I saw that Times piece come out, and I started reading some of it, and I was like, and they were basically trying to equate Black Rifle Coffee with the Proud Boys and basically a far right militia group. They were because at one point that Kyle Rittenhouse had one of their shirts on at one of the times, and they were like, look, we're not sponsoring this kid. Just stop.
Wink, wink.
Yeah, you get it. But and they were really trying to really group them in with being super right wing extremists, and it was
we're
these guys,
coffee drinkers.
Yeah, they're ex-military guys. They put hundreds of ex-military and people I don't know. I heard the one conversation where I didn't realize they employ a bunch of people that they helped out in Afghanistan while they were there and brought them back over because they were trying to kill them over there because they had helped the U.S.
might be
military
employing a lot more.
Yeah, that's wild. But yeah, as soon as I saw that article come out and it was so ridiculous, I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna buy something.
I'm gonna go buy me some coffee and I'm gonna buy me a mug. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna support these guys.
The bad thing is, man, is that journalist was at an event that they put on for guys that were wounded vets, and they do all these things to help out, not only the veteran community but the specifically the wounded veteran community, and they just didn't focus on that really at all.
That was, I think that you're right. That's the sad part is all these good things that these guys are trying to do. And it was, someone was filmed at the Capitol, I don't even like to call it insurrection because that's not a good word for it. That's the word they like to use for it. But,
Skerfuffle.
It was a break in. It was whatever. I heard a good word for it the other day. I can't remember what they used, but it was, either way. There was people there with Black Rifle Coffee Company hats, and Kyle Rittenhouse was wearing a shirt. You can't control who when you can go online and just buy something. You can't control.
I bet people had Nike shoes on.
Right.
We're not going after Nike.
Yeah, we probably should be for the shit they do overseas. Have you ever thought about that? We don't worry about that. We don't worry about Apple. Having slave labor to put their phones together as you rage tweet on with your Apple phone. Get the fuck out of here.
The selective agendas of whatever the flavor of the week is you're going to be woke or pissed about.
Yeah, it's getting real agitating. These.
But didn't he say on the Rogan podcast that he didn't make money for the first 2 years having the company running, yet that first year he was able to donate $25,000 to wounded where's that at? That's incredible.
Yeah.
But that was not.
That's what his focus was trying to help veterans out.
During that podcast, I just kept thinking about what you keep going back to, how you can't really get to know somebody without that conversation, and how the New York Times even got a better glimpse at what they do, like Ant said, by taking them to that 2-day event that the wounded veterans, and showing them what they're about, and it still fell flat, right?
Yeah. Well, because they completely omitted all that stuff.
Yeah.
Omitted all that stuff. Because that's the sad thing. It's you realize, if you're not realizing that's what's happening, with these media outlets and different news stories, you're not getting the full story.
Yeah.
You get whatever story they want to give you.
It was a good podcast. I like him.
The one with Joe Rogan and Evan Hoover?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was, so going back to what we were saying about employing people from Afghanistan, I said, they might need to employ a lot more. Did you hear his opinion on that? It was interesting. It seems like most veterans are very upset, that we're pulling out of Afghanistan just because they feel like all the sacrifice and the men that lost their lives and the time we spent over there is going to go to waste just because the Taliban is almost taken over everything at this point. Or at this point, maybe they have, but it seemed like I think he said that he was glad that they were pulling out. Do you remember that? He never really talked about, I don't think, why he was glad. And maybe it was just, hey, he knew exactly what was going to happen, that we never stay in any country, and then we pull out, and then either the original regime takes back over or one more heinous takes over.
Right. And I think there's a lot of depth to this like topic that even I never realized, and I think most people don't realize the depth. It's either we shouldn't fight wars, on foreign soil, or we shouldn't be doing this, or we should do this, or we should intervene, or we need to pull our troops out now. And it's like there's people that are having those discussions that it's a lot deeper than most people think or realize, because Dusty had mentioned something on Facebook or something like that, and he, kind of had a little something. I realized, like, look, I have no authority to talk about any of this whatsoever. But I'm talking to a microphone for a show, so here I am doing it. But I think a lot of people, like, because a long time ago, I used to be very much so on the side of we shouldn't be going to other countries. Let's worry about ourselves. Fuck those people. Like, we don't need to be getting involved in, Iraq or Afghanistan. We don't need to be getting involved in other people's problems. Let them deal with it. And that's, a lot of people's stance, where we shouldn't be going to these countries. And because we end up there for 20 years. And how would you feel like if someone thought your country had problems and came over here and, occupied your country for 20 years? Okay, I get that argument. But at the same time, I hear more and more guys, like you say, that have been there. And, the service members are like, we can't do this. Like, we can't, like, leave. We can't, just leave these countries like this. There's the discussion of, should we have gone in the first place? Okay, we did. So let's put that aside, because we were already there. And then there's the questions of, all right, should we leave? How much should we influence them and whatnot? But I think listening to a lot of the stories, I just listened to that podcast with Jocko that Andy suggested. Was it not Kirsty? Kelsey.
Is that the one that rode?
Kelsey Sheeran. Yeah, Kelsey Sheeran. It was Jocko podcast number 288. Ooh, fucking heavy.
Yeah, so she's on Stump too. I listened to both.
Oh, did you listen? Okay, yeah.
That's the one where I said the bracelets.
Yeah. So like, the first time, like, and you realize you hear people like her discussing what's going on over there. You hear people like, Jocko discuss things that goes on over there, and you like Tim Kennedy, like, and you understand what goes on when the Taliban runs things. So it's hard to say, hey, it's easy to say we shouldn't mess with other people's problems, leave them alone. But then when you realize what those people are doing to the people in that country, it's much easier to understand, okay, maybe we should do something about this because of just the ridiculousness that's going on. Jeez. She's up there getting it. Because it's kind of like it goes in the whole, like, the On Me Park discussion too, where, we're just allowing that to happen. Well, if we don't want to mess in other people's business, so it's like, oh, we don't want to mess in other people's genocide, so we're going to leave them be. So it makes that discussion around, should we be there? Shouldn't we be there? How do we leave? How do we, like, set these people up? Like,
or the Uyghurs.
The Uyghurs in China, and, everybody thought it was a good idea to stop Germany, right? During World War II and the Holocaust. So, like, it just makes, at least me, it makes me realize that all these things are not black and white. They're not so easy to say, this is what we should be doing, period. It's because a lot of those people don't want interference from us. Some people don't want democracy or a republic or, whatever it is you're trying to install there. But, I can only imagine that people also don't want to be raped and murdered all the time.
Yeah, I think there's no right answer. There's an answer that leans towards best with a lot of shit that's going to come with it.
Yeah, and that's what we're seeing right now. I don't know if that pulling everybody out like they did. I think I can, seeing what's happened, I think I can agree with the side that's saying, hey, we shouldn't have done this way. I don't know if we should pull them out at all or how it should be done, because that's obviously not my profession. But, like, I think we can agree it probably shouldn't have been done this way. because now, like you talked about, by the time this comes out, I'm sure there'll be a lot more things that come out. But I mean, within days, within days of them pulling troops out of bases, they took them over. And then a little further now, they're talking about basically getting everybody out and just leveling the embassy. And how much of Afghanistan now is completely back towards the Taliban, with a ton of U.S. technology in their hands now.
Yeah.
That got just left by the Afghan forces that just, they couldn't stand up to the Taliban. It's like, phew.
Yeah. And then something, we talked about where we, with Dusty, that you guys were on Facebook about, was just that, the people that they either have to go become part of the Taliban or they just get executed.
Yeah. And all those people that even had an inkling of helping the Afghan forces or the U.S. forces while they were there, like, they're done, toast, they're gone, like in just a blink of an eye. It's like, man, and then like you mentioned earlier too, like in Dusty said, the life that has been lost battling that, like, that's just all for nothing now.
Yeah.
So it's, this is not a black and white thing. But it's ugly. That's for sure. I don't know the answers to it, but I think it's one of those things that we have to consider more and think about and, get perspective on that, because I very much used to be, it doesn't matter what's going on halfway around the world. That's not my problem, not my deal. Or even like the whole political thing, like, it doesn't matter what I do anyways, screw it all. But if everybody has that, notion that it doesn't matter, I'm not going to do anything about it, then it's never going to change, right? I don't know. It's just realizing that there's so much gray areas in what's going on, and people with these staunch views, and has to be the way it is. Well, I don't know about that. It's
not a whole lot of dichotomy with geopolitical issues.
Yeah, it's what I saw something. I'm trying to remember what it was now. I don't know. Just the whole political scene. It's so gross. Like, even we were talking about it the other day. That whole we've talked about on the show where we talk about Bitcoin, all these things. People think, it's not necessarily silly or whatever you want to think. But it's tied so much into how we live and our systems around us that, like, I sent you that one clip about how they were putting in like broker terminology in the infrastructure bill that could like severely hamstring like the cryptocurrency world. And most people don't care because, like, whatever, it's cryptocurrency. But when you realize like why they're doing those things, like, all right, we're talking about an infrastructure bill, a massively expensive one. And then like they're talking about, we're just going to push this through, like trying to push this through, like with all these different things, like, well, you'll get this if you get this infrastructure bill through, and we're not passing this bill unless you pass this bill, like, and all the games they're playing. But and then they'll be like, well, we need this infrastructure bill for the people, for the American citizens, and for our nation. We need this. Well, then stop fucking attaching stupid ass shit and other things onto it.
Riders
and only, and not even that, like other bills saying we won't pass this bill unless you pass this bill.
Yeah, that's not for the people. That's for your own benefit, for something that you want or your own agenda.
Yeah. And to see it play out in real time, and really, like, if people don't see those things, like, that's why, the politics and stuff matter. When you realize just the dirty things that go on. I mean, we talked about before with the stimulus packages.
Oh, yeah.
Like, we were sending millions of dollars overseas to different countries in a stimulus package for the people. For fucking who people? like what?
Yeah.
And like in this recent infrastructure one, they were talking about how making like anybody that essentially dealt with like cryptocurrencies and miners and different things and nodes could be considered as a broker, which then you'd have to supply like 1099 forms, and there's a lot that goes into it. But essentially, it made it impossible for like miners and nodes and like cryptocurrency people to operate in the United States. So, okay, why does that matter? Well, if the blockchain technology is coming, which it is coming, and cryptocurrencies are a thing, they're here. Not all of them are going to survive. But we've talked about it's the next step for the future in technology and different things. So it's coming, it's here. Why would they try to? Because what this essentially would do is make it nearly impossible for anybody to operate like a mining or facility or nodes in the United States without breaking the law, essentially, with taxes. So they're going to force all of that business outside of the country. Like, it's still going to happen. It's like, why? Well, why would you do that? Like, you're hamstringing your own country because it's like another, revenue or another avenue for revenue for the country. So why are we doing this? Like, well, at least in my mind, we don't want different cryptocurrencies and things coming in that people can use to barter and trade with. And because, well, we need to use the dollar, right?
Because they can't control that.
Because you can't control it. And it makes it's so laughable. I hear people, they're still saying this. Oh, well, Bitcoin's used in money laundering and illegal things and this, that, whatever.
So
and it's illegal.
cash,
It's a bad thing.
Cash
Yeah.
isn't?
Yeah, exactly. Like, cash isn't. Like, what? What? Like, people don't have bags of cash that, like, drug dealers and stuff, they're flying around. Like,
It's all crypto now, bro.
Yeah.
All crypto.
it's so silly. That argument is, to me, it's so silly. Like, oh, it's used in money laundering and all these illegal activities. Oh, you mean like cash? Like cash has been like that? Like, it's even more trackable than cash. Like Bitcoin, like people say, like, you can't track Bitcoin. That's completely false. You can absolutely track it. But what you can't do is control it. They can control and they can't track cash very easily. So you can actually do nefarious things with cash a lot easier than you could Bitcoin. So, like, that whole argument, just stop it. Like, it's trackable. You can see it moving around. You may not know who's moving it around, but I don't know. It's so silly. Like, and just to see it all play out, it's disheartening. I don't know what's to come of it, especially with the whole political scene. I don't know, Tony. Sad, but that's the life we're living in. But it's okay. Afghanistan's burning and all this different stuff. You see the earthquake in Haiti that just hit too?
Like a 7 point
Yeah.
or something. I just saw it popped up on my phone. I didn't read about it yet.
The sound. Well, I think it just happened. Like, was it last night or like early this morning? So it's still. But I mean, a 7 point. That's a pretty.
Yeah.
Have they? Is there any updates on that situation? Because I just heard about it this morning. Sounds pretty rough. Nothing yet.
No, just said it was a 7.2. I'll dive into it a little bit here.
Yeah, because I don't think when I heard about it, they didn't have any information. But
Yeah.
man, Haiti hasn't been hit hard enough as it is.
Right.
Like, God damn it. And then what was it, California? It's like huge chunks of highways are like gone due to mudslides and stuff out there and the fires. I don't know, California's. That's good. If natural catastrophes are God's way of judging people, man, California,
you've been judged.
You got to get your shit together. And that's not, I mean, that's obviously not necessarily something to be joking about. The wildfires have, killed people and destroyed houses and whatnot, but it's a lot going on out there. It seems like a nice place to live. It's like the perfect weather. Not. It's like you have perfect weather all the time until you get hit with a mudslide or a wildfire. Ohio ain't too shabby.
Yeah, we have tornadoes.
Yeah,
Occasional blizzard.
Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, I'll take a random tornado here and there. It's not like Oklahoma though.
A few floods.
Yeah, nothing crazy though. I was talking to somebody. He was one of the pilots that. I'm trying to remember where they were from. I think it was maybe Virginia. They said like they're like in the middle of like a drought right now. They haven't had rain for like weeks. Like all the grass is yellow and everything. I'm like, oh, it's so green up here. I'm like, well, I said, we haven't had rain in a while. I said, but for like a month there, the water tables were so high that you get like even a drizzle and everything was flooding.
Yeah.
They were the one day we got rain and they, so we live out in the country, the whole other side of the road was like flooded and it was like rushing, like almost all the way up to the road. They took a pool floaty out there and just riding through the ditch, and it's like just a bunch of hillbillies
Awesome.
just like whitewater rafting in the ditch alongside this road. I was like, look at these degens.
I remember when I lived in Charleston, they call it the Low Country. It would flood all the time, and so these dudes would get their Jeeps and they'd hook dudes on wakeboards to the back of it, and they'd drive through downtown and just wakeboard.
Oh, that's not a bad idea. That'd be neat. You'd have to have it get just enough water there, huh?
Yep.
You have to. Well, my sister lived in the Outer Banks for a while, and it's like everyone around there is on these giant, because they go out on the beaches and whatnot. But
Yeah.
it's like you'd have to have something jacked up there. But at the same time, if it snows, everything gets shut down because they don't know how to do it driving it. Like they have an inch of snow on the ground. It's like the world's coming to an end. They had plows though. I realized I was like, well, because I've seen like a truck with a plow on it before. I'm like, well, why is snow such a big deal? Like you guys have plows and stuff. Like, yeah, but that's for sand. Like along the beach, like when it would like flood, they would have to use a plow to plow the sand away. But like, it's like no one knows how to dry it in snow. The tires aren't made for snow. Like the roads aren't used to it. We don't have any salt or anything like that. So like basically an inch of snow would just shut the entire town down. It's like, well,
That was another Charleston story. It was with Dan and this kid named Sean Guida, and it snowed down there when I was up in Greenville. It was a little bit closer to the mountains, and they hardly ever got snow then, and I don't think they do now. But there was maybe like an inch or two on the ground, and I was driving, and I was like, "This is gonna be sweet." And we pulled out, and dude, I just cranked it and just started doing donuts, and dude, it was interesting hearing a grown man scream as loud as Sean screamed.
It's like, what movie was that? Was it Out Cold? Have you ever seen it? It was that snowboarding movie where who was it? Zach Galifianakis in that? It was a guy that looked like him. I think it might have been. Was it Zach Galifianakis that was in that?
It was.
He got pissed drunk and he passed out. So they put him in this car, and it was
they
all. So they started spinning the
around,
car,
yeah.
and they get there. Oh, that's like when people fall asleep on the highway, or your passenger falls asleep. You slam on the brakes and start screaming. Just see him have a heart attack. Bunch of dicks. It is funny to hear a grown man scream like that. Sometimes you get surprised. Speaking of surprised, it just hit me, and we were talking about Bitcoin. See, it hit 48, Tone.
I didn't.
It did. It hit 48.
I told you I don't really pay attention to it. So
now it's just fun watching it.
yeah.
It's I think that's going to be interesting to watch. All those people that thought it was crazy. Just wait. It's going to get even crazier.
You said mainly the people buying it are the people that already own it. It seems like, or
yeah. So
have been
essentially,
holding it.
What was it? Bitcoin in I think February was in the mid 40s, and that was right before it went up to like in the 60s. That was mostly driven by like leveraged like futures and stuff like that. So there was a bunch of institutional money that was leveraged and whatnot that went into that. So even I don't even understand it all, so I can't even pretend. But there's a difference between essentially buying like a stock or parts of Bitcoin and putting money into like leverage, like options and stuff like that. It's basically like you're betting on stuff, so it can change the price of that. Now all of that leverage and whatnot has been liquidated at the bottom, and now it's the vast majority of this price action is just people buying the actual asset.
So it sounds like definitely more stable.
Right. It's extremely more stable, and it's creating essentially, unless a bunch of people sell it, it's creating a new floor. So you have that floor of last time it dropped down to like 30,000. Now this is kind of that extra push that they think once it starts coming up, this creating this new floor where the floor before was in the 20s, and then all that leverage and everything else pushed it to 60. Well, now if the floor is at 50, you could easily see all that new leverage and everything whatnot pushing it to 100.
Got you.
So buy me a house in the
The Outer Banks.
yeah, maybe not, probably not. I'll just I'll just sit on it forever and pretend to be poor. I don't know. You never know. I just want to retire early. That's the goal. If I can retire at like before 50, that's what I want to do. Most people, they just want to work and make more money. I just want to make enough money that I could stop working. I don't know. Maybe I'll make knives then. That'll be my job. I don't know.
Not a bad job.
Not a bad one at all. not the answer to the man to see, or if people start getting fired for not getting shots and stuff. We'll see.
What do you mean? Just go work at the White House?
I saw that. I didn't read that. So like they're saying that they're not going to
No.
They're not going to mandate
Nope.
it, but they were encouraging companies and everything else around. It's
Yep.
funny how that works, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, good for the goose, not the gander.
Yeah, it just makes me wonder, like, what, like, if I guess that's my problem is I don't understand, like, people don't see that and go, hey, they don't even go, hey, what the fuck? Like, hey, instead it's like everyone like ramming it down everyone's throat. Like, if you, like we've talked about before, if you want to get the vaccine, you do you. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Beyond a shadow, awesome. You want to wear a mask? Great. I get it. Please do that. But forcing stuff on other people has never gone well. Like, as soon as you start forcing people to do something they don't want to do, you're the one picking the fight, not the other way around.
Did you read the argument on the Chronic Curiosity conversation page that they're probably smart enough to just get the vaccine, therefore it doesn't have to be mandated? #science.
Huh?
Who said that?
I don't know who it was. Somebody commented on who's the one that originly shared? Chad.
Was it Chad? That...
Yeah, I said, well, it probably doesn't have to
Probably
be
Chad's
mandated
bot just
because they're all
stirred
probably
right.
Yeah, because they're probably smart enough
Yeah,
that it doesn't
or
need to be
smart
mandated.
enough to take a hermeneutic of suspicion and understand that there's no longitudinal studies to show side effects for something that mimics an influenza, which can never be completely eradicated. I just always wonder, like, how much do people actually know? And if they don't, like, are they willing to sit down and have a conversation so you can ascertain their knowledge base, and so that maybe you learn from them, maybe they learn from you. I don't know. It's very interesting how many experts have come out of this pandemic that apparently must understand immunology, virology, infectious disease. I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know that there were this many scientists. This is fantastic.
Right. And that's, I've always been like the one, like, at least for me, at least I try to, is I'm not saying like, hey, this is one way for sure. The other. For me, it's like, yeah, hey, I don't know about this.
Yeah.
Like somebody had posted something, and it was someone that we know, and I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was like one of those things where, you know, I said like, well, what if, like, because they were very much one side versus the other. And I was like, well, what if it's not just, you know, A is wrong or B is wrong? What if they're both wrong? I said, what if there's additional things in here that we're not looking at? And we don't have the evidence for. We haven't, you know, we're not figuring this out, and if we're not allowed to talk about it. Like, what if nobody's right? Never answered me back. It's like, that's where I'm going with it. It's not like, hey, show me the evidence, and let me make a decision. Like, the one thing, that's what I think it was, something along those lines was, basically it's, you're not smart enough to make your own decision. You're not smart enough to interpret the evidence to make your own decision. And it was like, whoa, what? Like, maybe I'm not smart enough to understand if this thing is A versus B.
Excuse me, bitch.
Yeah, but I'm not smart enough to know what I want to do with my body. Like, really?
Yeah. Not to mention, you can read white papers. Like, it's not.
Well, it wasn't. That
science.
wasn't directed at me. That was I think that was the thing
Just
that
in
they
general.
had originally posted. Like, somebody was saying that, like, hey, you're not an immunologist. You're not a virologist. You're not an expert on these things. So you have to listen to the experts because you're not smart enough to make your own decision, essentially. And it was like, whoa, fucking what? Excuse me? Like,
that's paternalism 101, man, which I loathe. Like,
yeah.
I hate it with a fervent passion. Like, let me make my own decisions. If I want to screw up, let me screw up. If I want to kill myself, well, Darwin Award goes to me, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the biggest argument that, like, drives me nuts about this whole thing is, first it was, well, it's a pandemic of the unvaccinated. Okay. And then it's, well, these people refuse to get vaccinated. Okay. And then it's, we're all us vaccinated people are doing this for the unvaccinated. And it's like, okay, I'm pretty sure they never asked you for that.
Yeah.
And I'm also pretty sure if they're refusing a vaccine, then
They don't
They
care
under-
if you get one or not. Like,
they don't care about that. And then also like, okay, like, well, then you're just killing her. You're gonna die. Okay, thanks for the concern.
Yeah, and I'm actually not going to die. My body fat's under 20%. I take 10,000 steps a day. My vitamin D levels are above 40 nanograms per milliliter.
Yeah, I mean, well, the potential's there. Like, you could die from the flu or something, whatever. But like, that's the whole thing is like, you guys are like, your argument is shit. Like, you're doing something for somebody that doesn't care if you do it for them, and you're angry with them for not doing a thing that they don't want to do to protect themselves when they understand the risk and they're okay with it. What, like,
You better bring up the other argument that they say that that you're putting them in danger. You're putting everyone else in danger, including them, even though they got the vaccine.
Yeah. So what kind of your vaccine isn't all that great then? Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Because it's a respiratory droplet disease, which can't be cured like polio or smallpox.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm not smart enough to argue all those points. But I'm smart enough to know that their argument's shit. I don't. And like I said, do what you ever want to do. I don't. It doesn't.
I wonder what percentage of people that haven't gotten the vaccine just want more information. They're not anti-vaxxers. They've gotten other vaccines. They stand behind vaccines. They just want to know like what's going to happen with this vaccine long term or in the next 2 or 3 years.
Right. And I
feel like the majority of them.
I think so too. I think a lot of they like to spin it. They're maybe not they all day. There's a lot of places that are spinning it as these are anti-vaxxers, QAnon, they think they're getting chipped, whatever. And it's being very disingenuous because it's like, most of the people that I've talked to that aren't really all on board with the vaccine, like they've had other vaccinations. They're not anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
They're not these crazy, stupid hillbillies, Trumpers, or whatever you want to whatever label you want to put on them. That's not, it's, hey, this was developed kind of fast. Well, I kind of see how this goes. And then more evidence comes out where, like you can still get it. You can still get COVID. You can still pass COVID to somebody else. Okay, it may. I think it's pretty well shown that it does reduce symptoms for most people. Okay, that's fine. But what if I'm already fairly healthy, active, young, I don't have a ton of comorbidities, I'm not, obese or all these other things. So my chances were already really good at surviving it. Really, really good. So why do I need to take something if I wasn't afraid of COVID in the first place? Why do I take a vaccine that I have questions about? And to say that, you shouldn't trust the experts. That I've noticed they stopped using that one, trust the experts, because, but why do I need to do this when I feel like it wasn't necessary to begin with?
You don't know what's good for yourself, Fred.
Right, because I'm too stupid.
You're too stupid.
Yeah.
You can't read these white papers. You're not a virologist or immunologist or infectious disease.
Yeah, and have good luck fucking trusting those motherfuckers too. At least Fauci. I never had anything necessarily against the guy. I thought he was playing his role, how he should be, whatever. But man, all the stuff with the NIH that comes, all the things he lied about, and I can understand you can just, explain that away. But with the stuff with funding the NIH, and the NIH funds the Wuhan lab and all the pieces of that puzzle, when you put that together, that you couldn't say it was, this lab leak theory or you were canceled because you're a conspiracy theorist. And now all of a sudden, well, yeah, it's possible. And the whole time Fauci was lying about that, saying, no, there's no way. Then it comes out, oh, well, apparently there is a way.
You could have said that if Trump just never would have said it first.
That's also the problem too. Yeah. But why can't we just think for ourselves a little bit? That's all I'm asking.
I mean, when a nation's trying to control you, they don't want citizens that can think for themselves. Look at China or North Korea.
Most people don't realize what's going on there either. Read the On Me Park book and you'll get a little tidbit of what's going on there. Yeah, it's just, I don't know. How do you think, is there a way to get out of it, Tone? Just stay sane long enough that the sane survive? Is that your plan?
I mean, I'm a survivor, bro. No one drinks that much bourbon and eats that many pretzels and is still alive and doesn't survive.
I've seen you down some pretzels and bourbon before. And that's why they'd get buy those giant like 5-gallon bucket. Well, I guess they probably weren't, but they're probably like 3-gallon buckets of.
Yeah, and now I'm actually trying. So I run all the time.
Yeah.
So watch out.
Oof. You're still doing the Murph every.
I finished the Murph on Tuesday, and now I've transitioned to doing 5Ks every day with a lot of pull-ups and a lot of push-ups and a lot of horrible stuff.
I don't do that. I do 10 steps on the stair stepper or
That's
10
fine.
minutes.
I do whatever you do, man. You know what I mean?
I'm getting better. I'm getting better.
As long as the heart rate's up, and like I said, man, if you can hit your 10,000 steps a day, get the heart rate up for 10 minutes, 15 minutes, just something. Be active. I think the recommendation is 5 days a week for 30 minutes, which I know it doesn't mean you have to go run, but just do something.
Yeah.
I heard something interesting the other day about weight loss, and it was talking about people that fidget. People that fidget, on average, lose an extra 800 to 2,500 calories a day. I thought that was super interesting.
I could see that. Well, it's like when you shiver.
Like, yeah, and that's
you're burning calories the more you move.
They discuss shivering too. So,
oh, I heard that too. There was something like they're talking about diets and everything else, but one thing that could help you out, those little baby steps, is keep your house. It's like 3 degrees cooler. Or something. It's like, what is it like? There's like 68 or something like that.
I think the optimal temperature was even lower than that for truly burning fat, though. It was like 62 or 64, I think.
I could see that. I keep my house at 62. That'd be awesome.
You go broke.
Yeah, that's true. In the winter, I keep the house at
I
keep it at 62. We have this like fire. We have a wood burner in the living room. And she's always bitching at me because she has to walk around with socks and a sweatshirt on in the middle of winter.
It's like a Little House on the Prairie, bro.
Yeah,
come on, Laura Ingalls Wilder, get with it.
Yeah, well, when I actually turn the thing on and I can't even get down. I can't even be in the living room. It's like I can't even be around you in the winter because like you want the place at 85 degrees and I'm hanging out. People come over like in the middle of winter. I'm like in shorts and a tank top. They're like, it's 5 degrees outside. I'm like, yeah, but it's 105 in here.
Yeah. Why do you think so many babies were born in August and September back in the day? It's how they kept warm.
Yeah. What's that face?
Let's get it on.
Just thinking about Tony coming with that realization. But to touch on what he said about the fidgeting.
Yeah.
So that goes into the TDEE, which is the total daily energy expenditure, basically what makes up all the calories that we burn in a day. And so for someone who's extremely fit, who works out intentionally all the time, it can make up like 25% of their calories burned. But if you're super sedentary, it can make up like 5 to 7%. But just doing your daily activities or like the fidgeting or talking with your hands like I'm doing right now or whatever makes up such a bigger percent. Like 70% is just what your body takes to just maintain. Like if you sat all day. So 70% of the calories that you burn is just what your body is, just to function. But it's like 15% is added with all the extra, like unintentional exercise. Like, so
Gotcha.
The steps that you take when you have to go to the grocery store or, like the fidgeting and the chills and stuff. So fun fact, it's not just that, hey, you have to go to the gym and, work out for this certain amount of time. It's just that continuous movement is going to be super beneficial.
Be a little healthier. We talked about how many times just move, just
Yeah.
do something.
Do
like Dernier
something.
said when he was here, like just do something for just 10 years straight. Just get off your ass and do something. Play fucking frisbee golf for all I care. I don't know. Just do something. Like you really, especially. I hate to bring up the whole COVID thing, but just like everything fits so perfectly like into line, like how like people are locked inside. More people are working from home. That means you're moving around less. You're not even walking to the office or walking up the stairs or walking into the elevator if you didn't take the stairs, whatever. But like people can literally sit at home all day long and do absolutely nothing. And then you eat, and then all of a sudden you catch this respiratory virus and you have no lungs. to speak of because you've been sitting and eating and doing absolutely nothing when you were already, I'm not trying to be a dick, but when you're already fucking obese and you didn't do anything before, like now you do even less. Like no wonder you can't lose any weight because you're sitting there all day. Like just get up and just move. Do something that makes you a little short of breath every day.
I particularly like to tax my lungs by running with the weight on while smoking a cigar at the same time. Like Vince Vaughn
with a
old
glass,
school
with
on
a
the
glass of
rings when he
bourbon.
has a cigarette in his mouth.
Or like Ricky from, not Ricky, who's the other one from Trailer Park Boys? That always has a glass of bourbon in his hand.
Yeah.
Oh, what's his name? I can't remember now. I don't know.
That was that workout I told you that Paul and me did at Journeyant's gym, where it was this terrible circuit, and we went and bought 2 40s each. We had to finish the 40s before the workout was done.
It sounds like Vomit City.
It definitely was.
Yeah. Well, that burns calories too. I wonder how many calories you burn during vomiting, because I bet I burned a ton because I'm a violent vomiter. I haven't done it in a long time, but I'm one of those people that like will blow like blood vessels and stuff.
That's when you know that's a good vomit.
Yeah, I get after it.
Hard in the paint.
Yeah, I do, man. I don't know. I haven't been sick in a long time though. Maybe it's because of trying to be healthier. Move a little bit.
Your vitamin C and your vitamin D and your zinc and your quercetin, turmeric, bismuth, green tea, all that good ionophoric stuff.
Movement. I did that. I will say my shoulder having shoulder problems, I've been doing a lot more cardio-esque type stuff.
Yeah.
Like I still do the movements, but I'll just do I'll superset, like just squats and deadlifts and all those things. And just, that's about my cardio right now, but get there. Couldn't find it. Oh.
No, they try to spin it to just let you know that you really can't remove the calories that you have consumed by vomiting to kind of
bulimic.
Yes, for eating disorders that you actually, can't remove. Well, the first one said that you can't remove the calories. This one is saying that you can, remove about half of the calories you've consumed.
Yeah.
There's no actual indication of how many your body actually burns from the actual vomiting.
Yeah. Yeah, I wasn't trying to go down that route. Because that's no good. You don't want to do that.
Nope.
No, vomiting's no fun for anybody.
Gotta look in the mirror and love yourself.
Yeah. Do the best you can. One step after another. One day after another. I don't know. It's going to be, I think we're in for, 2021 hasn't been quite as bad as I expected it to be. But it's got
still a chunk left.
Yeah. I feel like we've been on the precipice the whole time. Just
peeking over the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly what it is. But it has potential. We're still right there at the we're still right there on the edge. We'll see. It'll be fun. But he's made it 8 months now. What was your guess was what, like a year or something like that?
Maybe less.
Maybe was it less? I think mine was 2 years. We'll see. It's he's actually been stable at where he was at, I feel like. I'm surprised there hasn't been more decline. But a lot of good drugs, bro.
Stable in what sense, though? Have you seen his speeches? It's comedic gold.
No, it is for sure. But it's been there. It hasn't gotten any worse. They're still putting him out there. I wonder how, maybe it took him that. I wonder if that's why they were so quiet for the longest time. That he was
figure out his drugs.
They were trying to balance his drugs out. And they're like, all right, this is as good as we're going to get.
Diazepam workout.
Trump is on a bunch of amphetamines or whatever, and we got to balance this guy out too. There's got to be there has to be a special team of doctors that same ones that not, and I'm not trying to equate the two of these two people by any means, so don't do that. But the same when they had Hitler on cocaine and all these different methamphetamines and everything.
Dude, he probably has Neuralink. That's why he hasn't declined.
Oh yeah.
He probably talked to old alien Elon and just inserted it in there.
Someone's just typing stuff.
Probably most of them. Probably Pelosi when she short circuited and she said that.
Dude, that was so
Sunday.
Good morning. Sunday morning. I think even if you haven't seen that video, you have to go. Good morning, Sunday morning. Even the reporter was or the anchor was just
Yeah, can you plug yourself back into the Matrix, please?
Yeah.
This conversation, your avatar just got awkward.
Yeah. Well, she had like the earlier versions of it, and like has a scratch now. It's like we're going from like an old record, you know, it skipped. It's like I don't know.
Pelosi remix.
Yeah. I'm surprised she's still out there kicking it too. But you know, what are you gonna do? It's getting interesting. Got 3 more years. Do you think DeSantis is gonna run?
Oh yeah.
You think so?
Oh yeah.
You think Trump's gonna rerun?
Not if DeSantis does.
That'd be interesting. I think we need a third and fourth party. We need to figure that out. Yeah, figure it out. I heard, was it The Rock considered? Or he didn't consider it. He said he would consider.
Just sit
Would
down.
you vote for The Rock?
No, I would not vote
No,
for
you
The
wouldn't
Rock.
vote for The
Not
Rock?
at all. Nope.
Oh. What if it was The Rock and Biden?
I just wouldn't vote. I just wouldn't vote.
It doesn't help anybody, Tony.
Yeah. Neither would either one of them.
Yeah.
I don't mind The Rock. I just put in a political arena. It's just,
Yeah. We already had one reality TV.
Yeah.
We already had a TV star once. Oh, okay. What do you? Yeah. Okay. I get you. I feel that.
If The Rock was president, though, who do you think his cabinet would be?
Oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know. I feel like
Who would his Saki be? Circle back, girl.
I was
Kevin Hart.
Oh God, you know how fucking hilarious that would be.
I think that'd be his. VP.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Kevin,
You'd just never be able to see him. The Rock, he's standing behind the Rock. Is he there? Is he not there?
No, yeah. Who's the? Man, it'd have been a lot funnier if I had just remembered his name. The owner of Vince McMahon.
Oh,
he could be
VP.
Yeah, or no, as the press secretary.
Yeah.
Vince McMahon as a press secretary. I feel like he could.
Or Michael Buffer, maybe.
Oh, there you go. Ladies and gentlemen,
Welcome to the Rock's press conference.
Oh, that sounds like a good time. That sounds like an America I want
does.
to live in.
I might vote for that.
Yeah, I changed my mind. There we go.
The theme song would be Team America.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah, I will only vote for The Rock if Kevin Hart is the VP and Bruce Buffer is the press secretary. There you go.
Oh, we got any other cabinet members? Secretary of State.
There's some. I don't.
Speaker of the House.
Jack Black, maybe throw him in the mix. He could. I don't know.
All I can think of is Jack Black from Tropic Thunder. He's just geeked out of his mind on heroin, and the bat takes it.
Oh, he's a fun character.
What about Black Robert Downing Jr.?
Oh,
Too much?
Too far? I don't know. I don't know anymore, man. It's that I don't think they'd allow that. Maybe they might allow that if Kevin Hart was VP.
He might just tell The Rock just to never go full retard. Never go full retard.
Oh, and the wheels are falling off. I think I would. I'd like to get back to that. That's the America I'd live in. I'm okay with that. Who knows? It's a lot better than what's going on with Oregon. You see that they canceled math and science and
that's discriminatory towards some people.
Yeah, math, reading. What they removed some of the guidelines for graduation for their math, reading, and
how are these people?
writing.
How are these people going to succeed if they have to do these hard things that everyone else prior to them has always done?
That's what I don't get. Like, how do you get a job if you don't know how to read and write?
Well, then we just modify the jobs to make them easier to get, and we just eliminate all those aspects of the jobs.
Right. Fred. So then what kind of
makes so much sense?
It does. Okay. No, I'm following you. So then what happens to the product?
Oh, it's just whatever you get, you just accept it.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So it's just shit sandwiches
but
and dumpster fires.
Then we'll probably have to pay more for it, though, right?
Way more.
Way more for it.
But it's justifiable because they have less of a skill set, so why wouldn't we pay them more?
That makes sense.
Yeah, so it's called reverse meritocracy. If you suck, you get promoted.
Forced diversity, reverse meritocracy. Good.
Yeah. Oh, you're not good at something? We should promote you.
No. Just kidding. God damn it.
We might have to edit that out.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just stopping this right now. We're done.
Damn it, I was on a roll.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a write that timestamp down.
I think that's a lot of companies though, man. They promote their problems.
And that's I don't understand how that all I don't understand the logic behind that. Because there is none, I guess.
Yeah.
I fully.
I mean, someone must think there's logic if they pass those or they enacted them. I mean, I don't understand that logic, but it'd be interesting to try and understand their logic.
Yeah, like so I think part of that the logic goes into all right. So these are we had the conversation. I can't remember with who, whatever. But a lot of there's underserved communities, and they don't get the training and the teaching, and they don't have, the things necessary to, teach the kids. The teachers aren't there. They don't have the supplies. They live in terrible neighborhoods with, crime-ridden and gang-infested, and they don't have the opportunities that some kids have in better neighborhoods. Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
Yeah, but you don't lower standards. You just create more opportunities.
That's so exactly that right there. Why can't we find a way to create more opportunities for people in those areas instead of, well, it's fine if you don't know how to read, we'll still give you a diploma. Then what the fuck is the diploma good for, anyways? If it's not.
Yeah, and you can't really go through life if you don't understand some level of reading, math, science.
Yeah, like it shouldn't be. I get that. Hey, not everybody. There's different standards for different people, and it's kind of silly to a certain point. Like, to me, there should be this standard of, hey, let's teach you how to read and write and do math, and we'll work with you until we get there. Now, if somebody's excelling in those things, all right, we'll give them more complex things to do, so we can have the Elon Musks of the world,
or let them teach the people that don't understand.
Right, but just saying, oh, you don't need to know how to write, that's okay. What good does that do that person? Absolutely not.
It hinders them from better opportunities in the future, unless they change the whole system, like we were joking about.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if burning it all down and starting fresh is the right answer, but something needs done. I don't know how it gets done, but certainly lowering the bar does not help anybody.
No.
Try to serve the community a little better and help people out. That's about, I don't know, the best advice I have. Like, we got to figure out a way to help people, and helping people is not lowering the bar. It doesn't, it just makes your next standard to be expecting the bar to be lowered even more. Like,
yeah, participation trophies don't help a nation, that's for sure.
No, or kids.
Yeah.
Like, you have to deal with hardship. Like, as a kid, like losing a soccer game or whatever, like, you should know what loss feels like. Like, talk all the time, like, guess what? Yeah, like, if your kid gets upset because they suck at something, you don't just tell them, oh, you're great. No, yeah, you do suck. You should be upset. Yeah.
Time to get better.
Yeah, you struck out.
Time to practice.
That's what happens.
Time to study harder.
Yeah. You know why? Because you didn't do anything all summer long. You didn't practice. You know what, that kid over there, you think motherfucking LeBron James just got a basketball and, like, he's the greatest? No. He played his ass off. He's a whiny bitch too. But he played his ass off, and he is one of the best basketball players ever. Like, I won't deny that.
Yeah.
But because he played his ass off all the time. He didn't just quit or, be upset when he lost. Or say, oh, there's no fear. Well, he worked harder. That's what you do.
Yeah. Just be better and try and be the best version of yourself that you can.
Yeah.
Don't stop learning.
But that would require me to do something, Tony.
Probably should, or else I don't want to hang out with you.
Well, I don't know how much more you want out of me, Tony. I'm doing it. I'm trying to do all the things.
I know you are. Doing a good job, Fred. Wearing many hats.
I appreciate that. Hey, we're trying. We do have hopefully some additional things coming and fun things and whatnot. And
Good stuff,
keep on,
big stuff.
Yeah, keep on growing upwards and making I don't know, do the best and make the best show we can.
Upwards and onwards.
That's right. Baby steps. Baby steps with my friendly bison here. And I do have the view. Have you used the view? Oh, you got. So you can see the whole room now.
Cool.
Yeah. So when Cass is talking shit, people can know.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
What I said ain't legit. Don't quote me, boy. Cass ain't said shit.
Yep. Thank you. Thank you for hanging out with us on this episode.
Appreciated as always. And if you have any questions, comments, ideas, or guest suggestions, leave them in the comments after you subscribe to the channel, or visit chroniccuriosity.com to get in contact with us.
And the store, which you can pick yourself up some fantastically curious merchandise.
Until next time. That's it.